What's up guys, Brian here with BPS Customs, and today what I wanted to do is go through a bit of a follow-up video to my GTX 1070 2016 Razer Blade video, which you could find up here. Now this video is getting a good amount of attention, a lot of views, but also a lot of people seem to have a lot of questions about like my testing methodology or other things about the laptop that I guess I just didn't address for one reason or another in my review video. So what I've done is compiled a list of the 10, I guess, most important or most commonly asked questions about the Razer Blade, and I want to answer them in this video. Also, this is kind of going to serve as my 1 month follow-up. I've had the laptop for about a month now. I've used it almost every day during that time, and I guess I have a little more information about it, which I want to share with you guys. So this is my 2016 Razer Blade long-term test follow-up video. Okay, so let's get right to the questions. The first question is, do the bezels bother you? No, they don't bother me at all. I'm coming from a 2013 MacBook Pro, which had similar bezels. I know the new MacBook Pros have pretty small bezels compared to the Razer Blade, and there are a lot of other laptops out there that do have thinner bezels. I understand the need for the thicker bezels, considering that this is a touchscreen display in a very thin form factor, and they really don't bother me at all. They might bother you. I can't make that call for you though, and people saying, do they bother you? No, they don't bother me. How are the speakers? The speakers actually are something that I wish were slightly improved. They're not terrible, but I don't think that that's something that you want to hear about a product that costs $2,400. I wish they could be a little bit improved. They seem to be too tinny, and I would like a more rich and full sound, even if they were not as loud, because they are pretty loud. So I guess that's my take on the speakers. They could use some work. How is the trackpad? Trackpad is awesome. The trackpad is on par with Apple's product. It's a glass trackpad. It's super smooth, and I haven't run into any issues with it at all. Other Windows laptops that I've used have different variations on this, or they have a plastic trackpad, or they have some other material. It just does not work as well. This is a really good trackpad. Will it play X game? Usually CSGO, League of Legends, Overwatch, esports games. The answer to that is absolutely. This is what is supposed to be desktop class GTX 1060. It doesn't quite work out to be exactly the same as the desktop version, but it is still way better than something like even a 970M or a 980M. This is a really powerful graphics processor that will get you really good frame rates in almost any game you play. And if you really are focusing on esports titles, these are going to be games that you're going to play at 100 to 200 frames per second. It is really going to be an enjoyable experience for you to play esports games on this laptop. It is really powerful and kind of geared almost for those games. AAA titles even, this laptop will play really well. I've done 2 gameplay videos where I played Battlefield 1 and I played Titanfall 2, which are both brand new titles, and they're both, I mean, playable is a weird word to use because they look great and they run really well. So the word playable is maybe insulting to the machine's performance. It runs really well in every game I've tried. And if you're looking to play esports games, if you're looking to play CSGO, this thing is going to be really good for you. Is the glossy screen a problem? It can be. So the place that I most frequently use this laptop is in my living room, and I sit in a chair most of the time that has a window right in front of it, and sometimes the glare coming in does cause a little bit of an issue. I know that a matte screen might be a little bit better, but I can see why they use the glossy screen. If there's no glare on it, the screen looks amazing. So, you know, there are obviously pros and cons to it. If you're in a very bright environment all the time, you may have an issue with glare. So if you're going to be using it outside, maybe like a college campus or something along those lines, I could see going or opting for the matte screen as opposed to the glossy screen. But it's not an issue that would cause me to not buy the laptop. It's still a really good screen. How is the battery life? I get this question a lot, and to be honest with you, it's fine. For the most part, I am using this laptop plugged in. I've only taken it on a couple of trips, business trips, where I've used it not plugged in, and I haven't used it to the point where it has died. That's not to say that I haven't used it unplugged, it's just that I haven't really taxed it or used it for long enough for the battery to die. So I don't have an exact answer for you, but in the couple of times that I used it unplugged, after maybe an hour or two of charging, I mean, there was significant battery drain. Razer claims 5 hours of battery life off charger with this machine, and I would say that's optimistic. I have never fully drained it besides the time that I did the battery rundown test in my initial video, so I don't know for sure, but I would think that 4 hours is probably more realistic, just judging on what I've seen so far regarding battery drain percentage during normal use. So the battery seems okay. I could deal with 4 hours off charge if I'm traveling. That's a lot of time on a plane to be using a computer anyway. And most of the other time I'm plugged in, so I haven't had any other issues with it at all. When does it come out in Europe / Australia / any other country? I don't know. I don't have that information. I don't work for Razer. I don't actually have any contact with Razer. I bought the laptop from their website. So I don't have an answer for you on that. Hopefully soon. From what I've seen in the news and from their press releases, it was supposed to come out in Europe about a month after the release in the States. I mean, I hope it comes out soon. It's a great machine. I'm sure you guys would love it. But I don't know. I'm sorry. Your videos show the Blade at 72 to 75 degrees during gaming, but I've seen other videos where it gets to 90. What gives? You know, I can't comment on other people's testing methodology. The 2 gameplay videos that I've posted have clear on-screen displays running the whole time showing the temperature while gaming. So I can only comment on what I am doing, and the way I game is I have it on a desk and I'm playing with a mouse, and that's it. There's nothing special about what I'm doing. I'm not blowing a fan on it or sitting in a freezer or anything like that. It's just normal use, and the temperatures are 70 to 75 degrees during gaming, and that's as hot as it gets. And I haven't had any issues with thermal throttling. I haven't had any issues with overheating or anything like that. The laptop does not get that hot. I mean, it gets warm when you game, but it's certainly not something where you won't be able to hold it on your lap if that's how you game, which would be weird. But I don't know why other people are getting temperatures in the 90s. I don't know how they're testing. Maybe they're testing in a much warmer room. I mean, the ambient temperature in here is, I don't know, 72 degrees or something like that. So yeah, I'm really not sure, but I can show you results of me gaming where the temperatures are what I'm claiming they are. So that's all I really know. My Blade runs relatively cool. How loud are the fans? They get kind of loud, but no louder than any other small, or I guess thin form factor laptop. My MacBook Pro, which I came from, was a 2013 version with the GTX 750M. So it had discrete graphics, and I did try to game on it briefly because it wasn't a great experience, but I did try. And when I gamed on that laptop, the fans running full bore were real loud. I guess people don't realize that about Macs because they're not gaming machines, and I guess maybe people aren't really gaming on them a lot, or at least as much as on Windows-based laptops. So this Razer Blade is no louder than that was at full bore. I guess maybe during normal use, the fans are a little bit louder than the MacBook, which you really couldn't hear the fans at all when it was not under load. You do hear the fans a little bit, but there are people that have concerns or have expressed concerns to me about using this in an office environment, and I would say that you'd be fine, unless your office is a library or some kind of sound chamber. I don't know. You'd be fine. It'd be okay. And the most popular question I get is, how does this compare to the new MacBook Pro? Well, unfortunately, again, I don't really know. I don't have a new MacBook Pro. I don't intend on getting one. And the likelihood that Apple just sends me one is exactly 0. So I'm not gonna have a chance to compare those two, because I'm not just gonna drop $3 grand on a laptop just to do a comparison video, because I have no use for a MacBook right now. So I don't have that answer for you. I would say test it yourself. You could go to an Apple store and test the new MacBooks. You could go and play around with them. And there are a lot of review videos on them. So if that's something that appeals to you, if you want to be working in OS X, or whatever they're calling the operating system now, then go for the MacBook. If you want more powerful gaming experience, you want a more powerful GPU and a more powerful CPU, go with the Razer Blade. It's a more powerful machine. Hey guys, quick correction here. I didn't realize at the time of recording, but the high-end 15-inch MacBook Pros actually do have the same processor as the Razer Blade. So the processors are the same. So just the GPU is more powerful. It's also smaller, because I assume you're comparing this against the 15-inch MacBook Pro and not the 13-inch, although I guess you could go either way. But yeah, you get a little less screen real estate with the Razer Blade, but it doesn't bother me at all. Coming from a 15-inch and going to 14, it's almost the same. So I would say, like I said, if you want to be in the Mac environment, if you want to be in the Apple environment, if you have an iPad, you have an iPhone, you have other Apple devices that want to take advantage of the continuity that Apple has going on, then maybe the MacBook Pro is for you. Also, if you're doing music production, I used to do music production, and I found that programs like Ableton and other things along those lines work much better in the Apple environment than on a PC. So if you're into that, then certainly consider the MacBook. But if you want an all-purpose, more powerful machine, the Razer Blade is that. It is more powerful. So I guess that's it for this video. I hope I was able to provide you guys with some information that I didn't provide you initially, and that maybe you had some curiosity about. But overall, I am super pleased with the Razer Blade. I think it is a fantastic device, and I would still certainly recommend it to people. Even though I guess having it for a month has exposed some small flaws, overall, it's a fantastic machine. If you're in the market for a thin laptop that you could still game on and take it on the go, and you don't really want one of those laptops that are like this thick and look all awkward and whatnot, then this is a great choice. And it's much better for something like an office environment than one of those other machines, because it's not humongous and gaudy. So I would definitely still recommend it. And that's the end of this video. So if you guys enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and you could also leave me, I guess, some more questions down in the comments if you have any more that I have not answered. I can't guarantee that I could get to every one of them, but if I see something that is, I guess, reasonable and that maybe a lot of people would want to know about, I'll certainly try to answer it for you guys. So thanks a lot for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.